Okay, Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 10, the branches of the Chaitanya tree. Text 54 is where we start today. शिवानंद सेन प्रभुर भक्ति अंतरंग प्रभु स्थाने जाइते सबे लोयन जार संग. Shivanand Sen, the 24th branch of the tree, was an extremely confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone who went to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya took shelter and guidance from Sri Shivananda Sen. So he was the main organizer and leader of the troop that every year went for 4 months from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. And for 4 months they'll attend the Rath Yatra and other association and they'll come back. So every year he led the whole party. He made sure the arrangements for prasadam were done, arrangements for staying wherever were done, arrangements for paying the customs duty and all those kind of things. Like all the arrangements were done by Shivanand Setu. Okay. Text 55. प्रतिवर्षे प्रभुगण संगेते लोया नीलाचले चलेन पथे पालन करिया. Every year he took a party of devotees from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya. He maintained the entire party as they journeyed on the road. Text 56. भक्ते कृपा करे न प्रभु इतने स्वरूपे साक्षात आवेश और आविर्भाव रूपे. Translation. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows his causeless mercy upon his devotees in three features: his own direct appearance, sakshat; his prowess with someone he empowers, avesh; and his manifestation, avirbhav. So next few verses will explain in more detail what this means. So what we're going to do is we'll read the purport, we'll read the texts, and then we'll come back and explain the whole thing. So somebody wants to read the purport?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead.
The Sakat feature of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his personal presence. Avesa refers to invested power, like that invested in the Nakula Brahmachari. Avir Bhava is a manifestation of the Lord that appears even though he is personally not present. For example, Shri Sachimata offered food at home to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was far away in Jagannath Puri, and when she opened her eyes after offering the food, she saw that it had actually been eaten by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, Haribol. When Srivas Thakur performed Sankirtana, everyone felt the presence of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even in his absence. This is another example of Avirbhava. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So you may recall there are different types of incarnation of the Lord, right? Does anybody want to tell me some of the names of the different types of incarnation of the Lord?
Prabhu Vara, Matsya.
No. Types of incarnation.
Okay.
Okay. Guna Avtara Prabhuji. Yeah.
Guna Avatar 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Shakti
Shrecha Avatar.
Shaktiavesh.
Lila Avtara. Yuga Avtara.
Yep.
Purusha.
Purusha
Avatar,
Avtara.
yes.
Yes.
And Manvantara Avatar.
Manvantara Avtara.
So those are the types of incarnations of the Supreme Lord. But here is something different being talked about. In how the Lord appeared, it's the same Lord, but how he appeared in three different features. One is himself, one is by empowering somebody. So actually, in another place we'll read that he enters the body of the devotee. I'm sure that was symbolically, not physically, but the idea being that then by his entrance, the devotee is empowered empowered with all the powers of the Lord himself. And then there's Avirbhav, which is the manifestation in different places. So one example of Avirbhav has been given here with the example of Sachimata. So when Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, Sachi Mata will be missing him a lot, obviously. And we'll get more details of this in later verses, but I'll just give you a short version. And so sometimes the Lord will appear, like he'll actually show up where Sachi Mata was. So he'll appear, he's in Jagannath Puri, but he'll appear in Navadvip. And Mother Sachi Mata will be offering bhoga to Lord. And then she'll also offer bhog to Lord Chaitanya. And he will come and he'll eat from both plates physically. Mother Sachi will see that and then say, wait a minute, it's not possible that he's here because he's Jagannath Puri. Therefore, it must be a dream. But sometimes she will open her eyes and see the plate is actually empty. And then she'll say, wait a minute, did I forget to put the bhoga on the plate? Because there's nothing there. So she'll go and bring another more bhoga and then put it on the plate and re-offer it. So that's an example of Avirbhava. Lord actually showed up, but because of the external separation, she thought it was just a dream. Same thing Lord Krishna was doing after he went to Mathura. He would appear and do pastimes with the gopis and the gopas, and they'll think, oh, it was just a dream. But he would actually come. So that's an example of Avirbhava. The next verse talks about Avesh, so we'll see. Next 57. साक्षात सकल भक्त देखे निर्विशेष नकुल ब्रह्मचारी देहे prabhur avesh. The appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in every devotee's presence is called sakshat. So when the Lord himself shows up to do something, the sakshat. So aksh means, what does aksh mean in Sanskrit?
Eye,
Eyes. Sa means with.
eyes.
Sakshat means when you are able to see it with your own eyes, that's sakshat. So the Lord will appear sakshat means devotees can see him and he'll do some pastime. But the next type of pastime incarnation or the feature being talked about is avesh. We said in the case of Lord's incarnation, Shakti Avesh Avatar. Any example of Shakti Avesh Avatar of the Lord?
Parshuram.
Parashuram, absolutely.
King Prutu, Vyasadev.
Vyasdev, Narad Muni. So all, Prithu Maharaj, they all Shakti Avesh Avatars.
Yes.
Anyway, so here is Avesh. Later on, Prabhupada will tell you the same as Shakti Avesh. They talk about Nakul Brahmachari. So Nakul Brahmachari was a very close devotee of an associate of Lord Chaitanya. And it said that Lord Chaitanya entered his heart. And at that time, Nakul Brahmachari would become like a madman haunted by a ghost. He laughed, he cried, danced, chanted like madman sometimes, basically continuously exhibited the symptoms of transcendental love. You know, sattvic vikars, he's manifested all those symptoms of pure ecstasy. And at that time, his body will assume the same luster or the color as Lord Chaitanya. And he will show the same degree of absorption in the love of Krishna. You know, and he became so famous that people will come from all parts of Bengal to see him and to observe these symptoms as he was manifesting them. And he would, like Lord Chaitanya, advise anybody who met to chant Hare Krishna. And so one time, Shivanand Sen that we just mentioned in the previous verse, he heard that Lord Chaitanya has entered the body of Nakul Brahmachari. So he went there. He was in a different village. He went where Nakul Brahmachari was, and he kept asking himself, how is it possible? How is it possible? I need to go and test the authenticity of this rumor, so-called rumor that's going on, that the Lord has entered his heart. So he went to the village, but he did not go to the house of Nakul Brahmachari. He stayed outside. And he said, if Nakul Brahmachari personally calls me and knows my worshipable mantra, then I will understand that actually inspired by the presence of Lord Chaitanya. So he said, I want to test this before I believe it. So he just stayed outside, didn't tell anybody who he was, just stayed there. And there was a large crowd of people going in and out of the house, taking darshan of Nakul Brahmachari, observing the symptoms of ecstasy, and nobody noticed Shivanand Sen. And the crowd was so large that even some people could not see Nakul Brahmachari, but they wanted to go there anyway. Anyway, suddenly Nakul Brahmachari said to no one in particular, "Oh, Shivanand Sen is staying outside my house some distance away. Why don't few of you go and call him?" So people went outside and started running here and there, calling in all different directions. Who's Shivananda? Who's Shivananda? Please identify yourself. Whoever is Shivananda, please come here. Nakul Brahmachari is calling you. So Shivananda heard it, said, okay, phase one test passed, so he knows I'm here. And he quickly went in the house of Nakul Brahmachari. He offered his obeisances and sat down near him. The Nakul Brahmachari said, I know that you're doubtful. You have some doubts in your mind. So please hear the evidence I'm going to give you with great attention that will remove your doubt. And remember, the doubt was two parts. One, whether he will know who I am, that I'm here. Second, what is my worshipable mantra? Abba Guru Mantra. So the Nakul Brahmachari said, you're chanting the Gaur Gopal mantra, which is composed of 4 syllables. So now please give up your doubts, and join us. So actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that the 4-syllable Gaur Gopal mantra is Radha Krishna. So Radha Krishna, 4 syllables. But those who worship Lord Chaitanya, they say Gauranga, 4 syllables. So Gauranga is same as Radha Krishna. So if you're a worshipper of Radha Krishna, your Gopal mantra is Radha Krishna, and you're a worshipper of Lord Chaitanya, they have Gaur Gopal mantra, which is Gauranga. So that basically convinced Shivanand Sen, and he became convinced that Nakul Brahmachari is actually, that Lord Chaitanya has actually entered the heart of Nakul Brahmachari, and he was very honored to meet Nakul Brahmachari, offered his respect, and he started serving him. And what was I going to say? And then he stayed there for some time. Let's see. Yeah. Another, you know what? I'm going to wait. Let's go to the next verse. Text 58. Pradyumna Brahmachari tar aage naam chil, Nisinghanand naam Prabhu pachite rakhil. The former Pradyumna Brahmachari was given the name Nisinghanand Brahmachari. And what was I going to say? So there's a story behind Pradyumna Brahmachari's renaming, not reinitiation, but renaming. And so we'll talk about that. But I guess what I was thinking was that I will mention that the Lord's Avirbhav appearance used to happen in 4 places. One was in the house of Charitamrita. We just talked about that, how he'll show up, even though physically it was Jagannath Puri, but he'll show up and eat the prasada, or eat the bhoga actually, honor the bhoga, whatever. Second appearance was whenever Lord Nityanand danced in ecstasy. There will be Avirbhav manifestation of Lord Chaitanya. Didn't matter where he was, Lord Chaitanya will show up. We also know the story of what's it called? That he chipped rice. What's it called?
Dahi Chira.
The chira. That's right. The chira. So that pastime where Lord Nityanand invited all the devotees to sit with him, and then he invited Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya showed up again in Avirbhav feature, not physically. Then it was the house of Shivas, where the kirtan was being performed. And finally, the house of Raghav Pandit, who we talked about last week, how he used to send all sorts of prasadam for the Lord to consume. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about the story of Prabhupada Brahmachari. So this is another wonderful devotee who was actually a very pure devotee of Lord Nrsimhadev, and he was constantly absorbed in the service of Nrsimhadev. And it's said that Lord Nrsimhadev actually manifested himself in his body. And he, like Pradyumna Brahmachari, spent his time with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the consciousness that it's actually Lord Nrsimhadev who has appeared in the form of sannyasi Lord Chaitanya. Very interesting. So let me repeat that. He remained in the consciousness that Lord Nrsimhadev had appeared in the form of sannyasi as Lord Chaitanya. So he spent his time with Lord Chaitanya thinking his servant, Lord Nrsimhadev. And Vrindavan Thakur has mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat that Pradyumna Brahmachari used to converse directly with Lord Nrsimhadev. So he gives an example or other pastime of Pradyumna Brahmachari's meditation. And the story goes something like this. When Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, anybody remembers which village he took the sannyas in?
Katwa.
Katwa, exactly. Thank you. So after the sannyas, he started going to Vrindavan. But you may know the story that Lord Nityananda kicked him and took him back to Shantipur, where Advaita Acharya stayed. And there they called everybody, including Shuchi Mata, and they had some pastimes there for a few days. And after that, Lord Chaitanya left to go to South India. And when he returned from there, no, sorry, when he was going to Vrindavan, this devotee Pradyumna Brahmachari was meditating upon his journey. So now imagine somewhere between Jagannath Puri and Vrindavan, Lord Chaitanya is walking. This Pradyumna Brahmachari is sitting in near Navadvip, meditating upon the Lord's trip. And he's visualizing himself placing, all sorts of flowers, flower petals, jeweled bricks on the road that Lord Chaitanya is walking, just to make sure his journey is very comfortable. But in his meditation, when Lord Chaitanya reached a place called Kanai Natshala, about, I would say, 200 miles north of Calcutta, his meditation broke. And he couldn't meditate any further on Lord's journey. So the Pradyumna Brahmachari is sitting here in meditation, is saying, the Lord will only go as far as Kanai Natshala and he'll come back. So he predicted that just from his meditation. So my point is that he was that pure devotee that he could meditate. And as you know, that in that trip, Lord Chaitanya got as far as Kanai Natshala, but before that he was in Ramkeli, where he met Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami actually suggested to him, it's not a good idea to go with thousands of devotees who are accompanying you to Vrindavan. You should go there alone, or maximum one or two people. So Lord Chaitanya said, you were right, and he returned. So making the meditation of Pradyumna Brahmachari true. So again, my point is that Pradyumna Brahmachari was that amazing a devotee. Let's see if there's anything else. Trying to remember this. Yeah, so basically what happened was that Shivan Sen's nephew, Shrikant, he left Puri to go to to Navadvip and to tell them, don't come to Puri this year because I'll come to Navadvip. So remember, every year the devotees from Navadvip and surrounding areas would travel to Jagannath Puri. But this year, Lord Chaitanya sent a message saying, don't come here, I'm coming there. So everybody was very happy that the Lord is coming. And he said, I'll come in the month of Posh. So great, everybody's waiting. But the month of Posh came and almost finished, and there was no sign of Mahaprabhu. So the devotees like Shivanand Sen, Jagannatha Pandit, etc., they were waiting, and they were becoming very disheartened that looks like the Lord is not going to come. So as they were sitting there wondering what's happening, not looking very happy, Vidyamni Brahmachari or Nrsimhanand happened to be there, and he said, why is everybody look so unhappy? Everyone is looking so glum. So they said to him that, look, the Lord had sent a message that he'll come and we should not go to Puri, and he has not come. So we are very, very upset and we're feeling the separation. So he said, don't worry. I will make the Lord Chaitanya, appear here within 3 days. So some people are skeptical, but Shivanand Sen, Jagannatha Pandit, etc., they knew how pure Nrsimhananda is, how the strength of spiritual power, so they believed it. So now Nrsimhananda sat down and got into meditation for 2 days, and nothing was happening, and these people were getting worried that he said 3 days, 2 days already gone, and no sign of Mahaprabhu. But at the end of 2 days, he opened his eyes and he said to Shivanand that Lord Chaitanya has arrived in Panihati, and that by the noon of next day, he would be in Kumarhatta. And he said to Shivanand Sen, arrange for the ingredients to make a feast in the honor of Lord Chaitanya. And he personally started cooking early in the morning and made all sorts of preparations. And then he put 3 plates for bhoga. One was for Lord Jagannath, one was for Lord Nrsimhadev, and one was for Lord Chaitanya. So 3 plates for 3 different deities. I mean, not different, but 3 different deities. Lord Jagannath, Lord Nrsimhadev, and Lord Chaitanya. And he sat down again in his meditation. And in his meditation, Lord Chaitanya appeared and ate from all those 3 plates, leaving no remnants. So when he opened his eyes, he saw the plates actually were empty. So he said, oh my God, what happened, but then he said, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath are non-different. So I can understand why he will eat from the plate of Lord Jagannath, but I don't know why he ate from the plate that was meant for Lord Nrsimhadev. And then he said, and he was joking really, he said, Lord Nrsimhadev was fasted today. But really, Lord Chaitanya was performing the pastime to show everybody that he is non-different from Lord Jagannath as well as Lord Nrsimhadev. But again, Nrsimhadev is continuing his pastime. So Nrsimhadev was crying that Mahaprabhu is leaving now for Panihati, and when Shivanand Sen came to him, say, why are you crying? Why are you so upset? Then he mentioned that Lord Chaitanya came and ate from all 3 plates. And now Jagannath and Nrsimhadev, they're both fasting. So not just Lord Nrsimhadev, but Jagannath and Nrsimhadev. So Shivanand Sen said, I don't know if I want to believe this person. But because Nrsimhadev said, I would offer it again. So he cooked and gave to Nrsimhadev to offer as bhoga. And so they made an offering to Nrsimhadev, and then Nrisingananda was happy that my Lord has also now eaten. So now what happened was next year, everybody went to Jagannath Puri. And there Shivananda Sen and other Bengali devotees were sitting with the Lord Chaitanya, I mean. And Lord Chaitanya himself started saying, you know what? I had been to Shivananda's house in the month of Posh on the invitation of Nrisinganand, and I ate bhoga from all the 3 plates made by Nrisinganand. And it was so unexpected that they were saying, these people were saying, oh my God, that actually happened. And Shivanand Sen was saying, oh, I can't believe that. I do not believe him. But clearly, when the Lord says that's what he did, so it must be true. So anyway, so that's the power of Nrisinganand, the devotee in his who was such a pure devotee of Lord Nrisingadev, but also pure devotee of Lord Chaitanya, that he personally witnessed this particular pastime. So I don't know if that's confusing. It was a long pastime. Was it clear or was it confusing?
Nice pastime, Prabhuji. At least I didn't hear in past, but it was so nice releasing. Thank you. And it makes clear because
Okay.
he came, not physically directly, but he came
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
accepted, right?
Yeah.
With
So this is the example of the Avirbhav. Okay, 59. ताहते होइले चैतन्येर आविर्भाव अलौकिक ऐसे प्रभुर अनेक स्वभाव. In his body, now this Pradyumna Brahmachari, there were symptoms of Avirbhav. Such appearances are uncommon, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed many such pastimes through his different features. So let's read the purport, and you'll find that basically I've covered what is going to be the purport. But go ahead.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 73 to 74, it is said that Nakul Brahmachari displayed the prowess Avesha and Pradyumna Brahmachari the appearance Avirbhav of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many hundreds and thousands of devotees of Lord Chaitanya, among whom there are so special symptoms. But when a devotee of symptoms of a devotee of a Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu functions with a specific prowess. He displays the feature called Avesha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally spread the Sankirtan movement and he advised all the inhabitants of Bharatvarsha to take up his cult and preach it all over the world. The visible bodily symptoms of devotees who follow such instructions are called Avesha. Sivananda Sena observed that Avesha symptoms in Nakul Brahmachari, who displayed symptoms exactly like those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Charitamrita states that in the age of Kali, the only spiritual function is to broadcast the holy name of Lord. But this function can be performed only by one who is actually empowered by Lord Krishna. The process by which a devotee is thus empowered is called Avesha, and sometimes it is called Shakta Avesha. Pradyumna Brahmachari was formerly a resident of a village known as Piariganj in Kalna. There is a description of him in the Anta Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, second chapter, and in the Anta Khand of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter 3 and 9. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
So do you see somehow here Prabhupada being described? Not Prabhupada describing, but Prabhupada being described. Do you see it here anywhere?
Yes, Prabhu.
How?
The visible bodily symptoms of devotees who follow such instructions are called Avesha.
Right. So how does that relate to Prabhupada?
Because he was preaching, he's exactly, he was doing what the Sankirtana movement.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada in his humility did not say he's, but he's basically telling us he's Shakti Avashavata.
Yeah.
Right? He did exactly what Lord Chaitanya asked do, but you need the empowerment. That empowerment comes from the Avashavata. So that's Prabhupada. Okay. Text 60. Aswadil Esaburas Sen Shivanand. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay.
No, Prabhuji, I just wanted to say that also in this line where it says that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the age of Kali, the only spiritual function is to broadcast the holy name of the Lord. But this function can be performed only by the one who's actually empowered by Lord Krishna.
Right.
That's Srila Prabhupada.
That's Srila Prabhupada, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, text 60. आस्वादिल ए सब रस सेन शिवानंद विस्तारित कहिब आगे ए सब आनंद. Srila Shivanand Sen experienced the three features of Sakshat, Avisha, Avirbhav. Later, I shall vividly describe this transcendently blissful subject. So let's see the purport.
I can read.
Go ahead, please. Nana.
Srila Shivanand Sena has been described as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj as follows. Shivananda Sena was the resident of Kumar Hatta, which is also known as Hali Sahara, and he was the greatest devotee of the Lord. About 1.5 miles from Kumar Hatta, in another village known as Kanchadapada, is which there is a Gaur Gopal deity installed in Shivananda Sena, who has established a temple in Krishna area where that is still existing. Shivananda Sena was the father of Paramananda Sena, who was also known as Puri Dasa or the Kavi Karnapura. Paramananda Sena wrote in his Gaur Gandosta Dipika 176 that the two of the gopis of Vrindavan, whose former names were Veera and Duti, combined to become his father. Srila Sivananda Sena guided all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who went from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. He was personally bore all the expense of their journey. This is described in CC Madhya Lila, chapter 17, verse 19 through 27. Srila Sivananda Sena was three sons named Chaitanya Dasa, Ramadasa, and Paramananda. As mentioned above, the last son later became Kavi Karanapura and wrote the Gaura Gandesa Dipika. His spiritual master was Srinath Pandit, who was Shivananda Sena priest. Due to the Vasudev Datta lavish spending, Shivananda Sena was engaged to supervise his expenditure. Do you want me to continue reading?
Yes, please.
Sri Sivananda Sen actually experienced the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feature of Sakshat Avesha and Avirbhava. He once come along a day while on his way to Jagannath Puri Dham. It is described in his Anta Leela, first chapter, that this dog later attained salvation from his association. When Srila Raghunath Das, who was later become the Raghunath Das Goswami, fled his paternal home and joined Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his father wrote a letter to Shivananda Sena to get information about him. Shivananda Sena supplied him the details for which he asked, and later Raghunath Das Goswami, father, sent some servants and money to Shivananda Sena to take care of Raghunath Das Goswami. Once Sri Shivananda Sena invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home and fed him so sumptuously that the Lord felt indigestion and was somewhat sick. This became known to Shivananda Sena eldest son Chaitanya Das, who gave Lord the kind of food that would help in his digestion. And thus Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. This is described in Antilila 10th chapter, verse 4 through 142 to 151. Once while going to Jagannath Puri, all the devotees had to stay underneath the tree without the shelter of a house or even the shed. The Nityanand Prabhu became very angry as he was very greatly disturbed by hunger. Thus, he cursed Sivananda's sons to die. Sivananda's wife was very much aggrieved at this and she begins to cry. She was very seriously thought that since her son has been cursed by Nityanand Prabhu, certainly they would die. When Shivanand later returned and saw his wife crying, he said, "Why are you crying? Let us all die, if Sri Nityanand Prabhu desires." When Shivanand Sena returned and Srila Nityanand Prabhu saw him, the Lord kicked him severely, complaining that he was very hungry, and he asked why he did not arrange for his food. Such is the behavior of Lord with his devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu behaved like an ordinary hungry man, as is completely dependent on the arrangement of Shivananda Sena. The nephew of Shivananda Sena, named Shri Kanta, left the company in protest of Nityananda Prabhu curse and went directly to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. When the Lord pacified him, on that occasion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed his toes to be sucked by Puridasa, who was then a child. It was by the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he could immediately compose Sanskrit verses. During the misunderstanding with Sivananda family, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered his personal attendants, Govinda, to give them all the remnants of his food. This is described in Anta Lila, chapter 12, verse 53.
Thank you. So it's a long purport, but a couple of things I want to mention. That we have seen many references to Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, which talks about who the associates of Lord Chaitanya were in Krishna Lila. That book is written by Kavi Karnapur, who is none other than Puri Das, who is none other than Paramanand Sen, the son of Shivanand Sen. This Puri Das, when he was a child, he was allowed by Lord Chaitanya to suck his toe. And from sucking his toe, he became such a Sanskrit scholar and transcendental knowledge, basically knowing who these associates were in Krishna Lila, is no ordinary feat. And we talk about being empowered. So that's how the empowerment came to Kavi Karnapur, who, by the way, also wrote a book called Ananda Vrindavan Champu, which is another wonderful book of Krishna's pastimes. So anyway, and then Lord Chaitanya also ordered his servant Govinda to serve the family of Shivanand Sen personally, Prashadam, etc., so that there will be some appeasement from the incident of Lord Nityanand kicking Shivanand Sen. Now, I know I would love to be kicked by Lord Nityanand. Shivanand Sen was feeling the same way. That what a great fortune to be kicked by Lord Nityanand. And so don't misunderstand the pastime. Nityanand is just basically showing his mercy in his own unique way. Okay, 61. शिवानंदेर उपशाखा तार परिकर पुत्र भृत्य आदिकरी Chaitanya Kinkar. The sons, servants, and family members of Shivanand Sen constituted a sub-branch. They were all sincere servants of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 62. Chaitanya Das, Ram Das, R. Karnapur, Putra Shivanandir Prabhur, Bhakt Shur. The three sons of Shivanand Sen, named Chaitanya Das, Ram Das, and Karnapur, were all heroic devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So, same names being mentioned again from previous verse. Who wants to read the purport?
Prabhu, may I read?
Shalini Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Purport. Chaitanya Das, the eldest son of Srivananda Sen, wrote a commentary on Krishna Karnamrita that was later translated by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his paper Sajjana Toshani. According to expert opinion, Chaitanya Das was the author of the book Chaitanya Charita, also known as Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was written in Sanskrit. The author was not Kavi Karnapura, as is generally supposed. This is the opinion of Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur. Sri Ramdas was the second son of Shivananda Sen. It is stated in the Gaur Gano Desha Dipika that the two famous parrots named Daksha and Vichakshana in Krishna Lila became the elder brothers of Kavi Karnapura, namely Chaitanya Das and Ramadas. Karnapura, the third son, who was also known as Paramananda Das or Puri Das, was initiated by Srinath Pandit, who was a disciple of Sri Advaita Prabhu. Karnapura wrote many books that are important in the Vaishnava literature, such as the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Alankara Kaustubha, Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, and the great epic Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka. He was born in the year 1448, Shakabda, AD 1526. He continually wrote books for 10 years from 1488 until 1498.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so again, the whole dynasty is being described and how amazing all the three sons of Shivananda Sen were, which should not be surprising because Shivananda Sen himself was such a amazing devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and his services are well documented in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We'll read them later on. Text 63. Shri Vallabh Sen or Sen Shrikant Shivananda Sambandhe Prabhur Bhakta Ekant. Shri Vallabh Sen and Shrikant Sen were also sub-branches of Shivananda Sen, for they were not only his nephews, but also unallowed devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport? Anybody?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
When Lord Nityananda Prabhu rebuked Shivanand Sen on the way to Puri, these two nephews of Shivananda left the company as a protest and went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. The Lord could understand the feeling of the boys. He asked his personal assistant Govinda to supply some prasadam until the party of the Shivanand arrived. During the Rath Yatra Sankirtan festival, these two brothers were members of the party led by Mukund. In the Gaur Gaurdansha Deepika 174, it is said that the Gopi, whose name was Katyayani, appeared as Shri Kant Sen.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, we discussed this already. Text 64. Prabhu Priya Govindanand Mahabhagavat Prabhur Kirtiniya Adi Shri Govinda Datta. Shri Govindanand and Govinda Datta, the 25th and 26th branches of the tree, were performers of Kirtan in the company of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Govinda Datta was the principal singer in Lord Chaitanya's Kirtan party. Purport. Govinda Datta appeared in the village of Sukhachar near Khadada. Text 65. Shri Vijay Das Naam Prabhura Akhariya Prabhure Anek Pothi Diache Likhiya. Shri Vijay Das, the 27th branch, another of the Lord's chief singers, gave the Lord many books written by hand. Formerly, there were no printing presses or printed books. All books were handwritten. Precious books were kept in manuscript form in temples or other important places, and anyone who was interested in a book had to copy it by hand. Vijayadas was a professional writer who copied many manuscripts and gave them to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What was the famous manuscript that Lord Chaitanya discovered himself somewhere in South?
Brahma Samhita?
Yes, Brahma Samhita. Only one chapter, chapter 5. He found it on the roof near the temple. Anyway, so my point is that I know the story about Gadadhar Pandit. He used to read Srimad Bhagavatam to Lord Chaitanya. And when, what's the name? A very famous devotee, I had lost the name. Anyway, he went to Gadadhar Pandit to say, please teach me Srimad Bhagavatam. And Gadadhar Pandit said, I'm very sorry, but from my tears, the manuscript has been wiped out. The words are not legible anymore. So if you can find another copy of Bhagavatam, then bring it and I'll. So he went many places for many months. Finally, he found one copy. And when he came back to Jagannath Puri, by then Gadadhar Pandit had left his body.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was, oh my God, who wrote the Shad Goswami's Ashtakam? What's the name? Srinivasacharya. So I think it was him, Srinivasacharya. Anyway, my point is that so manuscripts are very rare in those days. There was no printing presses. You can make a photo and send on WhatsApp it. in those days. It was very difficult. Okay, 66. Ratnabahu boli Prabhu, Tholitar Naam, Akinchana Prabhur Priya Krishnadas Naam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Vijay Das the name Ratnabahu, jewel-handed, because he copied many manuscripts for him. The 20th branch was Krishnadas, who was very dear to the Lord. He was known as Akinchan Krishnadas. Akinchan means who possesses nothing in this world. Text 67. खोला बेचा श्रीधर प्रभुर प्रिय दास जहां सने प्रभु करे नित्य परिहास. Translation. The 29th branch was Sridhar, a trader in banana tree bark. He was a very dear servant of the Lord. On many occasions, the Lord played jokes on him. So let's read the purport, then we'll talk about him a little more.
Shall I go, Prabhu?
Yeah, either one is fine.
Go, Mataji.
Thank you. Sridhar was the poor Brahmana who made a living by selling banana tree bark to be made into cups. Most probably, he had a banana tree garden and collected the leaves, skin, and pulp of the banana tree to sell daily in the market. He spent 50% of his income to worship the Ganges, and the balance he used for his subsistence. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated his civil disobedience movement in defense of the Kafi, Sridhara danced in jubilation. The Lord used to drink water from his water jug. Sridhara presented a squash to Sasidevi to cook before Lord Chaitanya took sannyasa. Every year he went to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannathapuri. According to Kavi Karnapura, Sridhara was a cowherd boy of Vrindavana whose name was Kusumasava. In his Gaura Ganadasa Deepika 133, it is stated, Kola Vachataya Kayataha Pandita Sridhara Divya Asit Vyaji Hasya Koroyo Namna Kusamasava. The cowherd boy known as Kusamasa in Krishna Lila later became Kolavasa Sridhara during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila at Navadvipa. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So I'll read the next verse and then I'll talk about Sridhar, Kolavasa Sridhar. 68. Prabhur jar nitloy thoda mocha phal jar phuta lahopatre prabhu pila jal. Every day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jokingly snatched fruits, flowers, and pulp from Sridhar and drank from his broken iron pot. So, Kolavacha Sridhar was a very, very poor person. His business was to collect the bark of banana trees and make small pots, like in Hindi they call dona, with them, or leaf plates, and sell those and the bananas. Lord Chaitanya was very young, a few years old only. Every day he would go to Kolavata Sridhar's kiosk, I guess, and ask him how much bananas were, how much the small pots were, and whatever price he gave, he said, no, that's too much. You're charging me too much. Now, Kolavata Sridhar had a reputation for being as honest as Yudhishthir Maharaj. He did not lie. Even in his business, he did not lie. Prabhupada, in one of his purports in Bhagavad Gita, says it's okay for a businessman to lie when he says, I'm not making any profit for you, I'm giving you on cost, but it's a lie. I says it's allowed. But Kulavita Shida will not even do that. Whatever the cost was, he'll say that's the cost, and I cannot give you less than that. But Lord Chaitanya will always argue, and when Shida did not agree, Lord Chaitanya will pick up a few pots and a few bananas and start walking away. And Kulavita Shida will run after him, and they'll have a struggle. Literal like wrestling match, trying to snatch it from each other. And they will argue for an hour, hour and a half every day on the price. And finally, Kulavita Shida will say, fine, take whatever you want. And Lachita would actually take a few things and pay only half the price or not pay at all sometimes and walk away. But, Lord is Lord, so child or not, he knew, what was happening, and it was his way of showing mercy to him. Later on, one time, Lord Chaitanya went to Kulavita Shidhar. He said, I don't understand why you are so poor. I think you're worshipping the Lord of Lakshmi. You should be rich. But because you're not worshipping Lakshmi or Kali, you're so poor. Look at all the people who worship Kali, they're so rich. She gives them so much money. So maybe you should change loyalties. And of course, he laughed and he said, my dear Lord, you know better. And then Lord Chaitanya said, the real rich person is the one who has love of Krishna in his heart. So you are the richest person on earth. And he glorified him that way. When they were coming back from the house of Kazi after the big demonstration, they all passed by the house of Kulavita Shidhar, and Lord Chaitanya said, everybody is going to rest here today. So that place became known as Vishramstha. Vishram is to rest from that day on. And that day, Lord Chaitanya said, I'm thirsty. And he saw this iron pot which was rusted, but with water in it. He drank from that pot. Kulavita Shidhar ran to the Lord and said, my dear Lord, that's contaminated pot. That's so dirty. I drink from that. So it's, in Hindi they call juta. You should not drink it from that. And he said, no, this is the most nectar I've had in a long, long time. And he continued to drink from that. Kulavita Shidhar used to, first of all, had such minimal income, but whatever income he had, he spent half of it in worshipping Ganga. And so all those qualities of Kulavita Shidhar were not hidden from Lord Chaitanya. So one time when in the house of Shivas, Lord Chaitanya was doing Mahaprakash Lila for 21 hours straight, 7 prahars. And he was showing them different incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And lots of devotees were there, but Shidhar was not there. So Lord Chaitanya said, bring Shidhar here. So they said, okay. Now Shidhar used to stay up all night and chant the holy name very loudly. His neighbors used to get so annoyed that he doesn't sleep himself because he can't sleep because he's hungry, he has nothing to eat. But our tummy is full, we want to sleep, and he will not let us sleep because chanting so loudly. Anyway, so when the devotees left to find Sridhar, it's very easy to find him because they followed the sound of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to find him. Anyway, they got to his house, told him Lord is calling him, and they brought him to the house of Shivas. So when Kulavita Shidhar got to the Shivas Angan, the house of Shivas, he saw the glorious form of the Lord and he fainted. And finally he came to his consciousness. Actually, the Lord was speaking to him, and that's what brought him back to his consciousness. And by the power, the Lord empowers either by touching the head with his conch shell or with his hand or simply speaking to the devotee. So this time got empowered by the sound of Lord Chaitanya speaking to him, and he started reciting so many hymns of glorification of the Lord. And Lord said, I'm so happy, I'm going to give you Ashtasiddhis, the 8 mystic powers. And she said, no, my God, that's the last thing I need. I don't want that. I just want service to to your lotus feet. But Lord Chaitanya kept insisting, no, you have to ask for a boon. Ask me for a benediction. So finally, Khula Shira said, my dear Lord, if you must give me something, then please give me this. What's that? May that Brahmin boy who used to pinch or steal my banana leaves and my bark, that Brahmin boy, let him be my Lord lifetime after lifetime. May that Brahmin boy who used to argue with me be my master and let me serve his lotus feet. So that's the quality of a pure devotee of the Lord who doesn't want any wealth. No, dhanam sundarim kavitava jagdish kame. No wealth, no women, no followers, no scholarship, no recognition. Just give me the service. Let me serve you. No millionaire can get that after earning for millions of years. What Sridhar had was the love of the Lord simply from selling the bananas and the banana trees, banana bark. And so, very, very glorified devotee of the Lord, as we mentioned in this particular text. Okay, I think that's it. So that's Khola Vacha Sridhar. Text 70. No, sorry, text 69. प्रभुर अति प्रिय दास भगवान पंडित जार देह कृष्ण पूर्वे हला अधिष्ठित. The 13th branch was Bhagavan Pandit. He was an extremely dear servant of the Lord. But even previously, he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, who always kept the Lord within his heart. Text 70. Jagadish Pandit tar Hiranya Mahashaya Jare Kripa Kaile Bale Prabhu Daya Maya. The 31st branch was Jagadish Pandit, and 32nd was Hiranya Mahashaya, unto whom Lord Chaitanya in his childhood showed his causeless mercy. So let's do the purport. Any volunteers?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Okay. One of you go ahead, please.
Okay. Let her go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Jagadish Pandit was formerly a great dancer in Krishna Lila and was known as Chandrahasa. Regarding Hiranya Pandit, it is said that once when Lord Nityananda, decorated with valuable jewels, was staying at his home all night long, a great thief attempted to plunder these jewels but was unsuccessful. Later he came to Nityananda Prabhu and surrendered unto him.
Thank you. So
Thank
this is a very nice pastime. It'll take a few minutes. I will move to hear another pastime or should I continue?
Like to hear pastime.
Pastime,
Pastime,
Prabhu.
pastimes, Prabhu.
Okay, all right. So, Hiranya Pandit, actually, Jagdish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit were neighbors of Jagannath Mishra. And one time, Lord Chaitanya, when he was a little boy, I forget, 3 or 4 years old, it was an Ekadashi day, and he said, I want that offering that he, oh no, sorry, I'm sorry. That's a different person. That's Hiranya Majumdar. Forget it. Let's start with the pastime of Lord Nityanand. So Lord Nityanand was an Avadhut, but Avadhut means not a conventional sannyasi. So he would have very opulent clothing, lots of jewelry on his body, and wander around, basically lost in his ecstasy of love of Krishna. So one time there was a band of dacoits. They saw Lord Nityanand and they said, that's our next target. We should rob him and we'll get so much jewelry and so many expensive clothes. There's a band of dacoits actually. So they started scouting him. And they noticed that every night he goes to the house of Hiranya Pandit. And so they said, okay, we're going to worship Mother Kali, and next night we will go there and rob him. So they did the worship and all that. At night, they showed up at the house of Hiranya Pandit, but they noticed that there were lots of security guards. And these guys were like twice their size, huge body, and they're carrying all sorts of weapons. So they said this must be some other important person also visiting this house. Hence all the security guards. So today we cannot steal. We'll come back next day. So they left. Next day they prepared again and got around the house of Hiranya Pandit, and they waited for basically the lights to go off. And one person went to check that there was kirtan going on in the house, and Lord Nityananda was honoring prasadam with some of the devotees, and they were having a conversation. So they said, okay, let's wait another hour or so. By then till midnight, everybody will fall asleep, and then we can go and rob. So with Nityananda's magic, suddenly a storm came. Very strong storm, strong winds, 200 kilometers an hour kind of winds. And the rain started, very heavy rain, and rain with the, what do you call this? Ole. What's the English word?
Hails.
Hail, thank you. Hailstorm. So, like, tennis ball size hails, can you imagine? And they're falling on top of all these dacoits. So they were now in pain and became very dark because of the rain. So they were running here and there to protect themselves, and they were falling in ditches full of thorny bushes. And then the mosquitoes came and the wasps came, they started biting their body. So they were in really bad shape. They ran, here and there. Finally, daytime came, and they said, "Oh my God, Mother Kali saved us today. Otherwise, we'd have died." So then they decided that, wait a minute, I think this is a very special person, and maybe it's trying to rob him. We should go and apologize to him. So next night they went there. The leader went first, and there was Lord Nityananda honoring prasadam. He fell flat like a rod and confessed the whole thing and apologized. And Lord Nityananda said, "No problem, I forgive you," and then embraced him, which turned him into a pure devotee. And that was the change of consciousness and heart of these robbers who were trying to rob Lord Nityananda. So that's the story being referred to in this purport. Excuse me. Text 71. এই দুই ঘরে প্রভু একাদশী দিনে বিষ্ণুর নৈবেদ্য মাগি খাইলে আপনে. In the two houses, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu begged food on Ekadashi and personally ate it. Oh, maybe so it was. I was not wrong. Okay. The injunction to fast on Ekadashi is specially meant for devotees. On Ekadashi, there are no restrictions regarding food that may be offered to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the food of Lord Vishnu in his ecstasy as Vishnu Tattva. So, couple of points. One is I was right in telling that story that Lord Chaitanya was asking for the food offered, and that totally amazed these two brothers who said, how does a little child know what we have offered? So that was the pastime. But the other point being made here is that the Lord does not observe Ekadashi. We do. So that is why those of you who are pujaris in the temple, you know that even on Ekadashi day, we offer grains to Radha Chicha Gopinath and Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. Not to the gurus and not to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda because they are acting like devotees, but to the lordships. So there's no restriction on what you offer to the lordships on Ekadashi day. Okay, 72. प्रभुर पड़ुयद्वय पुरुषोत्तम संजय व्याकरण द्वि शिष्य द्वि महाशय. The 33rd and 34th branches were the two students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu named Purushottam and Sanjay, who were stalwart students in grammar. They were very great personalities. Okay, it's a short purport, so I'll just read it. These two students were inhabitants of Navadvip and were the Lord's first companions in the Sankirtan movement. According to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Purushottam Sanjay was the son of Mukunda Sanjay, but the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita has clarified that Purushottam and Sanjay were two people, not one. Okay. 73. Vanmali Pandit Shakha Vichyat Jagate Sonar Mushal Hail Dekhile Prabhur Hate. Vanmali Pandit, the 35th branch of the tree, was very much celebrated in this world. He saw a golden club and plough in the hands of the Lord. Vanmali Pandit saw Lord Chaitanya in the ecstasy of Balaram. This is described vividly in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antakhand, chapter 9. So again, Vanmali Pandit was a devotee of Lord Balaram. So he saw Lord Chaitanya in the form of Lord Balaram carrying the hal and mushal, the club and the plough. 74. चैतन्य अति प्रिय बुद्धिमंत खान आजन्म आज्ञाकारी तेहो सेवक प्रधान. The 36th branch, Buddhimant Khan, was extremely dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was always prepared to carry out the Lord's orders, and therefore he was considered to be a chief servant of the Lord. So let's read the purport. Any?
I can read it, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead, Prabhu.
Shri Buddhimanta Khan was one of the inhabitants of Navdvip. He was very rich, and it is he who arranged for the marriage of Lord Chaitanya with Vishnu Priya and the daughter of Sanatana Mishra, who was the priest of the local Jimidar. He personally defrayed all the expenditure for the marriage ceremony. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was attacked by Vayu, the degradement of the air within the body, Buddhimanta Khan paid for all requisite medicine and treatment to cure the Lord. He was the Lord's constant companion in the Kirtan movement. He collected ornaments for the Lord when he played the part of goddess of fortune in the house of Chandrasekhar. He also went to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was staying at Jagannath Puri.
Yeah, thank you. So this is another wonderful pastime being mentioned here. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was attacked by Vayu Vyadhi. So the disease of the Vayu. So you know how is different Kapha Pitta Vayu, the three
Yeah.
diseases they call it. So what happened was Lord Chaitanya had just started his Sankirtan movement. He was feeling the ecstasy of the holy name, and she was acting like a madman. And some citizens of Navadvip said, oh, that's a symptom of Vayu Vyadhi. A man acts like a mad person. So then Sachivata called different doctors, as being mentioned here, that Buddhiman Khan paid for those doctors. But that's not the end of the story. Those doctors could not cure Lord Chaitanya because obviously the disease was something different. It was not the disease of air at all. It was the disease of the heart. So different people were coming, making their comments. Then Gadadhar Pandit came. And as you know, he was a classmate of Lord Chaitanya and a neighbor. He came, and Sachivata said, you know him well, so you tell me what to do and how we cure him. So Gadadhar Pandit looked at him and started laughing. He said, Mother, don't worry. It has nothing to do with Vayu, nothing to do with Kapha and Pitta. It's not a material disease. He's simply in love with Krishna. And therefore is exhibiting the symptoms of love of Krishna. When Lord Chaitanya heard that, he embraced Gadadhar Pandit. He said, Gadadhar, had you said what everybody is saying, I would have run away to Ganges and jumped and given up my life. So thank you for saving my life by knowing the truth. So that's the pastime we refer to here in this particular purport. Okay, text 75. Garuda Pandit Loy Shinam Mangal Nam Bole Vishujare Na Karil Bal. Garuda Pandit, the 37th branch of the tree, always engaged in chanting the auspicious name of the Lord. Because of the strength of this chanting, even the effects of poison could not touch her. Garuda Pandit was once bitten by a poisonous snake, but the snake's poison could not affect him because of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So there you go, another description of the power of holy name. 76. Gopinath Singhe ek Chaitanya re das, akrur boli Prabhu, jare kaila parihas. Gopinath Singha, the 38th branch of the tree, was a faithful servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. the Lord jokingly addressed him as Akrura. Actually, he was Akrura, as stated in the Gaur-Ganodeshastha. 77. Bhagavati Devananda Vakreshwar Kripate Bhagavatir Bhakti Arth Paye Prabhu Hete. Devanand Pandit was a professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. But by the mercy of Vakreshwar Pandit and the grace of the Lord, he understood the devotional interpretation of the Bhagavatam. So there's a professional reciter doing professional interpretation, and there's a devotee doing devotional interpretation. So by the mercy of Vakreshwar Pandit that we talked about last week, Devanand Pandit became a devotee. So let's read the purport.
Shall I go, Prabhu?
Please go ahead, Mataji.
In the Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Khanda, chapter 21, it is stated that Devananda Pandita and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's father, Visharada, lived in the same village. Devananda Pandit was a professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like his interpretation of it. In the present town of Navadvipa, which was formerly known as Kulia, Lord Chaitanya showed such mercy to him that he gave up the Mayavadi interpretation of Srimad Bhagavatam and learned how to explain Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of bhakti. Formerly, when Devananda was expounding the Mayavadi interpretation, Srivas Thakura was sorry. Srivas Thakura was once present in his meeting, and when he began to cry, Devananda's student drove him away. Some days later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that way, and when he met Devananda, he chastised him severely because of his Mayavada interpretation of Srimad Bhagavatam. At that time, Devananda had little faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an incarnation of Lord Krishna. But one night, sometime later, Vakreshwara Pandita was a guest in his house, and when he explained the science of Krishna, Devananda was convinced about the identity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, he was induced to explain Srimad Bhagavatam according to the Vaishnava understanding. In the Gaur Ganodesh Deepika 106, it is described that he was formerly Bhaguri Muni, the Shobha Pandita, who recited Vedic literature in the house of Nanda Maharaj.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So everybody knows Bhaguri Muni was, right? Who was Bhaguri Muni?
It's a Bhrigu Mani or
Bhrigu.
No, not Bhrigu, Bhaguri.
Okay.
Bhaguri.
Okay.
I don't know, Prabhuji.
See, it just says right here. I was just testing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is.
He was the Sabha Pandit, which is Kulguru, Kulguru of Nanda Maharaj. So like Garg Muni was Kulguru of? We should know this. He's the one who named Krishna and Balaram.
Yes.
So whose Kulguru was
Yadu.
he?
Yadukul's
Yeah,
Kulguru,
Yadu
right?
Kula Vasudeva. Yeah, Vasudeva, right?
Who wasn't that Sandipani Muni?
No, the Sandipani was the teacher of Krishna in Avantipura. Because he was
Oh.
sent by Vasudeva later on, right? When he went to Mathura, then he was sent, right? So I just ask these questions occasionally to make sure everybody's listening. Okay, text 78, 79.
Prabhuji,
Huh.
Prabhuji, I have a question. I mean, I'm doubt.
Huh.
How come Bhagavatam is interpreted as Mayavadi? No.
Even Advaita Acharya started doing that because he wanted to be not respected by Lord Chaitanya and chastised by Lord Chaitanya. So even he was doing that. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, you can take anything and make a impersonal interpretation. Just deny the
I mean, Bhagavad Gita, I think, can be Mayavadi, but Bhagavatam is totally Krishna's Lila and Krishna's
Just call it
Krishna's
imaginary.
love for his
True.
devotee.
But if
How
somebody
come
says a
it is
story,
Mayavadi interpretation?
if somebody says a story, right? So like a lot of people, I had a relative, he was actually a high court justice, very qualified. And he used to argue with my mother that Bhagavatam is just a simple collection of stories. There's no philosophy there. And so again, he was a Mayavadi. His interpretation was all nonsense, and so it's not surprising at all. If you deny the godness of Krishna, then it's easy. But that's what they do. Godness of Krishna is denied and the form of Krishna is denied. Right? So that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Um, what's that verse? Where it's Manusham Tanam Ashita. I know one line is Manusham Tanam Ashita. Param Bhavan Ajantar Mamlok Maheshwaram. What's the Avjananti Mam Mudha. Avjananti Manusham Tanam Ashita. The Mudhas don't know that I have appeared in a human form. I'm not a human. Param Bhavam Ajanto. Lokavam Ajam Abhyayam. He says they just don't understand. So those people make all sorts of interpretations. Some call him playboy, some call him just story. Even one person who wrote commentary on Bhagavad Gita, he said there's no Krishna, there's no Pandavas. Krishna is actually soul, Pandavas are the five senses, and Kurukshetra is the body. And then the whole Bhagavad Gita is interpreted. So yeah, I mean, if you want to be stupid, you can be stupid, no problem. There are many of them.
But in other way, then Lord Chaitanya has got all surrounded by the devotees.
So this is why he converted Devanand Pandit also. He converted Advaitacharya also, right? And sorry? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also. Like, see, that's why he did all that. Right? So, I mean, again, just shows the point that without Krishna's mercy, we cannot understand any of these things. So, you can be scholar. But remember, Krishna said in 7:15, what did he say? Namam duskritino mudha. Prapadyante naradhma. Right? Maya apradhyana asram bhavam ashita. So he talks about the scholars. They have PhDs and all those kind of things. Just don't understand. As it is, they don't understand. And they call it that it is. Something totally different. Right? Have I answered your question, Apni?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Sure. Okay, so we'll do this last one. I'm getting tired. Text 70 or 79. Khandavasi Mukunda Das Shri Raghunandan Nar Hari Das Chiranjeev Sulochan यही सब महाशाखा चैतन्य कृपा धाम प्रेम फल फूल कर जहाँ तहाँ धाम. Shri Khandavasi Mukunda and his son Raghunandan were the 39th branch of the tree. Narhari was the 40th, Chiranjeev the 41st, and Sulochan the 42nd. They were all big branches of the all-merciful tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They distributed the fruits and flowers of love of Godhead anywhere and everywhere. Okay, who wants to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhu.
Can I read?
Prabhu.
Go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Purport. Sri Mukunda Dasa was the son of Narayana Dasa and the eldest brother of Narahari Sarkar. His second brother's name was Madhav Dasa and his son was named Raghunandana Dasa. Descendants of Raghunandana Dasa still live 4 miles west of Katwa in the village named Srikhanda, where Raghunandana Dasa used to live. Raghunandana had one son named Kanai, who had two sons, Madanaraya, who was a disciple of Narahari Thakura, and Vamshivadana. It is estimated that at least 400 men descended in this dynasty. All their names are recorded in the village of Srikhanda. In the Gauraganodesha Deepika 175, it is stated that the Gopi, whose name was Vrinda Devi,
became Mukunda Dasa, lived in Srikhanda village and was very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His wonderful devotion and love for Krishna are described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 15. It is stated in the Bhakti Ratnakara 8th wave that Raghunandana used to serve a deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narahari Dasa Sarkara was very famous devotee. Lochan Das Thakur, the celebrated author of Sri Chaitanya Mangala, was his disciple. In the Chaitanya Mangala, it is stated that Sri Gadadhar Dasa and Narahari Sarkar were extremely dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But there is no specific statement regarding the inhabitants of village of Sri Khanda. Chiranjeeva and Sulochana were both residents of Srikhanda, where their descendants are still living. Of Chiranjeeva's two sons, the elder Ramachandra Kaviraja was a disciple of Srinivasa Acharya and an intimate associate of Narottam Das Thakura. The younger son was Govinda Dasa Kaviraja, the famous Vaishnava poet. Chiranjeeva's wife was Sunanda and his father-in-law was Damodar Sena Kaviraja. Chiranjeeva previously lived on the bank of the Ganges river in the village of Kumaranagara. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 207 states that he was formerly Chandrika in Vrindavana. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. So this Raghunandan Das is very famous. Why is he famous? Because one time his father said that I'm going out of town and you offer the food to the Lord, bhoga to the Lord. Make sure he eats. So Raghunandan Das was 5 years old at that time. He said, okay. And the father left. He took the bhoga and offered to the Lord. He said, actually, Laddu Gopal. I said, please honor it. So, of course, the Lord was sitting there on the altar, not moving. So he said, please come, eat. The Lord didn't come. Then he started crying. He said, my father is going to beat me up. We don't eat. So please come and eat. And after some time, with his sincerity and emotions, the Lord came down, sat on his lap, and ate the whole plate. And went back to the altar. In the evening, father came back and said, oh, so give me some prasadam. So Raghunandan said, what do you mean prasadam? The Lord ate it. So father thought he's joking. He said, stop joking, give me the prasadam. And he said, father, the Lord ate it. So he thought my son actually ate it and now making excuses. So he said, I don't believe you. Show me. So offer it again. So he offered again, and this time the father was sitting, hiding behind the door. And he saw the Lord actually came down and ate from the hands of Raghunandan. And then he came and offered his obeisances to his own son. And that deity is still there. And we saw it last year, we were there. We saw that deity that ate from the hand of Raghunandan. So that's a very famous devotee to know and remember. Okay. Anyway, so that's Raghunandan Das. And there was one other name, Govinda Das. Anybody? Oh, so I'm Shashikala Mataji, you have a comment or question?
Yes, Prabhu.
Huh.
Can you... Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Prabhu, can you please enlighten about the Laddu Gopal? Because on one hand, we have heard that it's not mentioned in the Shastras, but the other hand, there's so many pastimes mentioned in the Shastras, like one you said right now.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear what you said. Say again.
The Laddu Gopal, on one side it says that Laddu Gopal worship is not mentioned in any of the Shastras, and on the other hand, there are some pastimes involving Laddu Gopal mentioned in the Shastras.
So I don't know how to answer it, mother. I know that a lot of people worship. And this mentioned the Shastras or not, I'm not sure. I've not read all the Shastras, so I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer your question. But he was definitely worshipping because I saw the deity. So, and whether it's according to Shastras or not, I don't know. Okay. So yeah, the other name was Govindadas. So anybody remembers any famous bhajan by Govindadas?
Kabe habe bolo.
Huh?
Kabe habe bolo?
I don't know about that one.
No.
Bhajahure man.
Oh,
Right?
Srimad.
I got it.
So, yeah, so
Oh.
that's one. Then the another name mentioned is Ramchandra Kaviraj. So which bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur mentions Ramchandra Kaviraj?
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, exactly. The last line is Ramchandra Sangamange, Narottam Das. So they are all very famous personalities that we mentioned here, like all of them. Obviously, they're representing a branch of the tree of Lord Chaitanya. So they're pure, but some of them are more famous than others. So that's okay. So I'm going to stop here. I am happy to answer questions, but my throat is totally parched, so I can't read much more.
Prabhu, these deities you are mentioning, is it in the temple at Navadipa or which temple are these?
Oh, this is near Katwa, Prabhu. Katwa is about an hour away from Navadvip. Or I should say Mayapur.
Yeah. They're all close by, no, Prabhu? They're all just about 1 hour or so.
It's not, there's a railway station there, but you have to come out of Mayapur about an hour, place called Katwa, and then nearby, these different villages. And so there's some very nice, beautiful deities of Lord Chaitanya dancing. Beautiful, beautiful deities of Lord Chaitanya dancing. And then the place where Raghunath Das was performing his services. And the temple, the deity that he was worshipping. There's another deity there that was breastfed by the daughter of another famous devotee. I forgot the name, but physically breastfed the deity. That deity is there also. So I mean, some amazing deities and amazing pastimes in those areas. There's something called Navadvip Parikrama. It takes usually a month. So if we can ever have an opportunity to do that, it'd be amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not very good with names, so I forget the names. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Vancha kalptarubhyo kripa sindhubhyo cha.
Naam Pavne Vaishnav Namo Namo.
Jai Shri Prabhupada Maharaj.
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Haribol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Surupa.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.